Writing off different things. See, most people get up and go to work. I get up and don't go to work. The last thing I do every day is go to work.
You'll be sitting over here.
I don't meet the guests before I go on. I mean, it's a perfunctory hello. What do you think of the weather? And then we go on. I like that much better. The less prepared, specifically prepared I am, the better I feel. I don't like to read biographies of people. I like to discover things as they happen, and then the audience and I discover it together.
Larry King is a television host who started his career in radio. He's best known for his work on Larry King Live, which appeared on CNN, his radio show, The Larry King Show. He is also known for his suspenders and his many marriages. Larry King was born November 19th, 1933, in Brooklyn, New York. His birth name was Lawrence Harvey Zeiger. He was born to Jewish immigrants Edward Zeiger and Janine Gietlitz. According to Biography.com, his father died when he was just 9 years old as a result of heart disease. Larry lived a poverty-stricken life, as his mother was on welfare to support him and his little brother. Larry King has said he always dreamed of his career in radio. I personally got to hear Larry King speak about his life when he came down to the Rio Grande Valley last year. He talked about his life in New York and where he came from. He talked about living in poverty in the streets of Brooklyn. You could instantly tell he is not ashamed of where he came from. Larry King managed to go from rags to riches. He talked about how he had trouble in school and inspired the audience never ever to give up what your passion might be. He barely even finished high school and had not had a steady job for some time.
Thank you, Fred Lowry. Good evening, everybody. On this Tuesday night, Wednesday morning across the United States, this is the Larry King Show, coast to coast on Mutual, our special.
King often talked about his early career and how he got a jump start to becoming successful in television. King met a television announcer with CBS who told him he should move to Florida to jumpstart his career. King talked about how in Florida there was a growing need for a market in radio. According to Biography.com, they were hiring inexperienced broadcasters in Florida at the time. King got his first break on Miami radio station WAHR. When he moved to WAHR, he performed odd-end jobs, such as cleaning, and when an announcer quit, he was able to jump on the radio. He was put on the radio from 9 a.m. until noon. What was Larry King's salary at the time? Well, King got paid $55. $55 a week.
I never know the first question I'm going to ask a guest. I'm coming on the air saying good evening. My guest tonight is, I have no idea what that question's going to be. And I like spontaneity. That's the kind of broadcaster I am. John, let's go back and then we'll trace this extraordinary post-Watergate thing you capture in Lost Honor. What was it like to have been a young, successful person and to have dreams come true and then be in jail?
Shattering, needless to say. In fact, when I
always had the ability to get people to respond to me in a one-on-one situation. I have never had a problem with it, but I don't take any credit for it because I didn't do anything to work at it. You have bitterness toward Nixon?
Not really. I think that's a lot of weight to carry around that I really have no desire to carry.
Toward anyone?
Not really.
Are you aware that there's a man walking around who hates you, G. Gordon Liddy? I mean, if you mention your name to G. Gordon Liddy, it's bizarre.
Well, that doesn't surprise me.
Now, I think interviewing is a natural attribute. I don't think you could teach it. I don't think you could make someone. You can give someone some rules, but if someone is not naturally curious, if they're not sincerely interested in what the guest has to say, forget it. And you can't teach that.
He built a strong local following and also wrote a column in the Miami Herald and the Miami News. During the 1960s, he entered the television scene. In the 1970s, he was actually charged with grand larceny, which resulted in him losing his broadcast and newspaper jobs. Lucky for Larry, he was acquitted of the charges a year later. However, the public did not view him the same at the time, and he was pretty much broke. But Larry did not give up.
This is a new science, socio-cyberneering. And this is its inventor, the extraordinary Jacques Fresco. He's my guest this weekend on News Weekend.
He was rehired by a TV station in the late 1970s, and he did a bit of nightly talk show. He then hosted a talk show in the 1980s, which featured call-ins from the audience. His show was actually the first international TV call-in show, according to Biography.com. King once again developed loyal listeners. Larry King Live then became the highest-rated talk show. He interviewed celebrities, presidents, athletes, heroes, and all walks of life. Ross Perot actually chose to announce his 1992 presidential bid on Larry King Live. Since starting his career with CNN during June 1985, he had a reputation for asking easy, open-ended questions, which actually made him attractive to important figures. His interview style was quite frank, but he had some humor to it. He actually would even attract guests who would not appear on other television shows, because of the way he asked questions. His show was mainly aired from LA, and it became CNN's most watched nightly program, with over 1 million viewers every single night. Larry King Live was seen all over the entire world. He mainly conducted interviews in the CNN studio, but he would also do on-site interviews, including interviews at predominant places such as the White House. In an interview with the Washington Post, King noted that he would sometimes add hard questions in between his open-ended ones, and that was his style. Some of the most recognized Larry King Live episodes include his first interview. He interviewed Mario Cuomo as his first guest. Oprah Winfrey actually went on Larry King Live, endorsing President Obama during his 2008 presidential bid. King announced that he was leaving CNN in 2010. He appeared on CNN for 25 years when he said his final goodbye. Millions, including myself, watched the last show. The final Larry King Live aired on December 16th, 2010.
It's not very often in my life I've been without words, but I want to thank everybody associated with this program, all the people behind the scenes, as I mentioned, Wendy and the staff, the floor people, everybody who makes it possible, even the suits at the top. I love them too. When I started 25 years ago at a little studio in Washington, D.C., I never thought it would ever last this long or come to this. So I'm going to go on, do a lot of other things. We're going to do specials here on CNN. I'm going to be seen in other places, do some radio work, be around baseball. So you're not going to see me go away, but you're not going to see me here on this set anymore. For 2 weeks, they're going to be playing highlight shows. I don't know what to say except to you, my audience. Thank you. And instead of goodbye, how about so long?
King remains an active television writer and journalist.